I want you to listen to how a bully talks. You're about to hear the words of a bully.
Hell out of them, but hopefully that's not happening. I heard Iran wants to make a deal. If they want to make a deal, that's much smarter. You know, they could have made a deal the last time before we went through, a big attack on them, and they decided not to make a deal. They wish they made that deal. So I think, again, they should make a deal. They want to make a deal, but sometimes that doesn't happen. Yeah, please.
Mr. Trump, does that mean for you Israel? Would you support the overthrow of the Iranian regime?
Who?
Iranian regime.
I'm not going to talk about overthrow of a regime. They've got a lot of problems. They have tremendous inflation. Their economy is bust. The economy is no good. And I know that people aren't so happy, but don't forget, every time they have a riot or somebody forms a group, little or big, they start shooting people. They kill people. And the people tend to... I've watched this for years. There's tremendous discontent. They form 100,000, 200,000 people. All of a sudden, people start getting shot. And that group disbands pretty quickly. So I've watched it for years. They're vicious people, yeah. Now I hear that Iran is trying to build up again, and if they are, we're going to have to knock them down. We'll knock them down. We'll knock the hell out.
Now, he's talking about Iran trying to get nuclear weapons. Have you ever wondered why countries are trying to get nuclear weapons? It's to protect themselves from the bullying of Western countries like America. I've heard this kind of talk back in the 80s before. It's the same thing they said about Russia, the same thing they said about China, the same thing they said about North Korea. Every time a country has decided it's not going to tolerate America's bullying anymore, somebody, especially the president, comes out with this kind of rhetoric. Donald Trump is working for a system that says certain people can't defend themselves from America. The reason why he's not talking to Russia about this kind of thing, because the Russians aren't listening to him. Russia used to be in these nuclear agreements, but have since torn them up. Trump ain't fucking with Russia like that, because Trump knows Russia has the ability to turn Washington into a barbecue. He's not fucking with China either like that, because he knows China has the ability to turn Washington into a barbecue, and he's not fucking with North Korea like that, because North Korea has the ability to turn Washington into a barbecue. If you understand what I'm saying. And when African states begin to look towards developing nuclear weapons, you're going to hear the same rhetoric about African people. So all you house niggas out there who is siding with this guy, watch and see what happens when African states begin to develop nuclear weapons. You're going to hear the same rhetoric. Every time a little guy tries to come up so that he can protect himself from the bully comes out of the woodwork with every kind of excuse as to why the little guy can't have the weapons they need to protect themselves. He's saying that Iran cannot have nuclear weapons. It's the same thing they said about China, the same thing they said about North Korea, the same thing they said about Russia, trying to keep them from getting nuclear weapons so America can be the big dog on the block. That's what this is about. What you have just listened to is a bully trying to keep everybody else under his thumb. This is why I've been telling black people it's time for us to get our shit together and get nuclear capable, especially Africa. In the future, especially since because of what's going on in the AES states, America and Western Europe is going to be a huge problem, and they will only listen to you if you prove that you have the ability to set Washington on fire.